Liverpool v everybody. Shout out to. It's a shame that I should have wrote your name down, bro. You left a comment the other day, and I told you I would shout you out in my late night video. I didn't. Um, and even worse, I'm coming on here to mention you, but I don't even have your name. So I'll make sure I get your name and shout you out in the next video. Only because, listen, I'm no major channel, but I appreciate the kind of small community that we have here. I really do. And when people show love and we have banter or back and forth, I like to just shout y'all out, man. Just to let y'all know I see you, I respect you, I appreciate you very much for sticking with us all this time. So, but today, also shout out to the guy who told me about the volume, whose name I don't have either, which is even a more simpler name that they use on YouTube. But thank you a lot for saying that. I listened to that video back, and the sound wasn't great, and I recorded so much time that it felt like to make another one. But from now on, when I have that much distance from the camera I'm using, I'll just use my headphones, and so we'll have that issue. But no, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. And anything like that comes up, there's a bunch of channels that people will respond in negative ways or whatever. I'm not here for that. Now, it's one thing to be said that if I wasn't interested in you all hearing me and I didn't care, then I'd say that. But I do, so I appreciate that. But today, unfortunately, this video is not really much about the game tomorrow, which it should be because it's a big game, and I think the length of that game in Istanbul, the heat, the amount of work we put into that game can't be a positive thing, because we're turning around and have another game this weekend. It's not an excuse. It just is what it is. I'm sure Chelsea has a game this weekend as well. So, but, it sucks, because there are going to be some guys who are struggling for fitness. That's just what it is. I know Fabinho looked like he was going to fall at the end of that game. I think Klopp wanted to keep Firmino on the bench a bit longer if he could. He didn't. We won the game. That's great. We got a trophy. But we got to think about the Premier League. And in no way am I saying that I feel like we're going to have a bad result against Southampton, but it's just not the best. Anyway, on to what I really came on to talk about. I wake up as usual, have my cigarette, and look for Liverpool news. And I see that Adrian, and maybe I'm late to the party as usual, got injured by a fan who ran on the pitch at Istanbul. Now listen, part of me feels there was a game last season, I forget what game it was. It may have been the Origi winner. I forget, but there was a kid who ran on the pitch and everything was cool. Even the players were celebrating with the fan from what I can remember, and nothing happened. And part of that's nice to see. But there's also been situations where I think City were in a cup competition, they lost, and someone approached Sergio Aguero. This kind of stuff, it just has to stop. And and I'm not just saying it because it's Liverpool and all that, but what I am saying is that when players are getting hurt, my thing, I've seen teams celebrate before, and the way they jump on each other's back, me and my wife are always sitting here thinking, damn, relax. Like, if somebody gets hurt, then what? So I get it. It's the passion. It's all that, but we can't allow. Somehow football has to keep these things from happening, and I don't get it. Even in the Champions League final, the woman who ran on for publicity, it's just these things cannot happen because you just don't know. Now I highly doubt this kid was trying to hurt Adrian. Assuming he's a Liverpool supporter, why would he be trying to do that? But we got to find a way to stop this. It's just not good, man. You can't have players getting hurt because fans have run onto the pitch. And then obviously for us, if it's actually true, I might have listened to Klopp's pre-match conference, and it's just not good. If he really can't play Saturday, that's not good for us, man. I don't know if Callahan is there or Lonergan or whoever. I don't know who we even have. I guess it's the guy Lonergan, whatever his name is, the senior or the older keeper we have. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but that's just unfortunate, man. And again, I just saw the post. I didn't really look and see what the injury was, how long he's going to be injured, if that's the case. Again, I listen to Klopp and see what happens, but that's got to be frustrating. But again, unlucky with Liverpool, man. It's always something. It's always some freaks. Now, this is the most freak accident because this is just ridiculous and it's uncalled for. I prefer the player to get hurt if he's going to get hurt while he's playing, not from a fan coming on and tackling him or mobbing him or whatever he did. to hurt him. The kid looks like Onyx's age, my son's age, or size, not his age, but his size. So I don't know what happened, man. Maybe there's a clip out there to show, but and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But fast forward, I want to talk also about, and this is the first of probably many this season that we'll have to be discussing, or at least I will. I don't know about other channels, but I definitely will be discussing racism. So we had our first situation of many with Tammy Abraham. And, listen, to me it's hilarious that people actually feel like Kick It Out is anything but a joke. It is a joke for me. As a black man, Kick It Out doesn't do much but talk about what they want to do, what they should do, what should be done. There's no real action taken by Kick It Out from what I've seen. Now, if someone has seen something different, let me know. But as a black man, I feel like Kick It Out is not really doing enough. And I'm hearing that Kick It Out is trying to team up with Twitter to keep listen, I've been blocked from Twitter for the most ridiculous things ever. I've seen other people get banned from Twitter for pointless things that shouldn't be banned. I mean, there's full-on porn on Twitter. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I mean, some of these things should easily be kept from Twitter, but they're not. And so now you got to team up with Twitter, or Twitter feels like they have to team up with Kick It Out. Listen, this type of stuff, the irritating part, but non-surprising part is that it's something that goes on in our society anyway. So why wouldn't it be in football? It'd be nice if it wasn't, because you feel like football is something that should bring everybody together. But unfortunately, we have these issues. So obviously, people know by now, but Tammy Abraham was racially abused. I hate that term. And I hate the idea that there's certain people, again, I'm not going to use anybody's names, especially a particular person, because I don't want to give them any light on my channel. This guy had the nerve to continue to repeat, "Oh, you're racially abusing him for missing a penalty," as if there'd be another reason that would be a reason to racially abuse him. Someone being racially abused is inappropriate regardless, whether they're doing it because he missed a penalty, whether they're doing it because they're just racist and they want to make monkey chants, whether they're doing it because his skin's too black, or whatever the case. It doesn't. Racially abusing someone, there's never a reason for doing it. So because someone's doing it because he missed a pen doesn't make it worse from someone doing it for another reason. It's racial abuse. So that's it. That's the end of the story. So, for me, I just feel like certain people, if they're going to talk about it, don't be ignorant, and also hear other people that are black and that have dealt with this. Be open to what they suggest or what they say. And so, again, all these different accounts, we don't know who's behind them. It's easy to assume that it's Chelsea fans that are behind them. It could be other fans as well. But it's just the first of many this season. It's sad. It's a disgrace. For me, Tammy Abraham obviously dived in that game. And I'll continue to say that, and that's unfortunate. And I'll continue to give him I'll tease him a little bit for missing the pen, because I think that's kind of like, payback for diving. But, when it comes to the other stuff off the field, like that's just ridiculous. And, for Tammy Abraham, he hasn't had a first couple of games, a great first couple of games for Chelsea. He's looked good in moments, but he's probably a bit down on him. He's a young guy. He wants to come back to Chelsea and do really well, show that he can replicate what he's done in other teams in the championship specifically. And maybe he will do that. But calling him the next Drogba is a lot of pressure on him. And we can tease him and say that's a joke and all that, but it's just unnecessary pressure on him. He doesn't need to be looking to be the next anything. Just being himself, Tammy Abraham. And he's a young, obviously talented young player. And I hope that he gets back, he improves and does well for that team. I'd love to see him stay at Chelsea and realize his potential and have a great career there. But yeah, the racism stuff is just something we got to deal with, and it just is going to be what it is. And the bigger issue for me is that there's no real serious punishment coming down. There just isn't, and there never has been in my mind. So until that happens, we'll talk about it here because I feel like it needs to be spoken about. But quite frankly, it's just exhausting speaking about it because there's really no outcome that is really going to change anything for me at all. There never has been, and there won't be. And so, but I'm always going to bring them up and highlight them and just say, listen. And shout out to, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, the Anfield Rap about a week or so ago had a very nice podcast, and I respect them for doing this, about racism in football. and they had 3 different guests. I feel like I've spoken about this, so if I have people who've heard this, just I don't know, ignore this part or whatever. But they had 3 different, I guess, people of color, which is another phrase I don't like. But you get the point. I think they had an Asian guy, a black guy, Mo Stewart, who was part of the Anfield Rap, and then they had a Sheik, I think, and they all were explaining their different experiences with it in the game, outside the game, going to the match, different things they may have experienced, being racially abused or being looked at differently or questioned about how they get tickets and stuff like that. So if you get a chance, check that out. It is the Anfield Rap. I don't think they have it on their uploads for YouTube, which it would have been nice, and I wish they would have done that, but I think they have it on their podcast. So just check out the Anfield Rap podcast, Tall podcast, and check out, if you're interested in these kind of things, these kind of matters, these issues, these concerns, the Anfield Rap, Racism in Football, I believe is what the title of the podcast is. But if you just Google the Anfield Rap, Racism in Football, I'm sure it'll pop up. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I hate to spend time making videos about this. I shouldn't say I hate it, but I'd rather be talking about the game. But there's so many things in and around the game that need to be brought up, and I'm always going to do that, as you guys know, whether people like it or not. So, it's just one of those things that, one of the ugly things about the game, about our society in general, but, that has to creep into the game. And so I hope at some point they can really, really give some serious punishment for these acts, because there needs to be consequences for these sorts of for this sort of behavior. There needs to be, serious consequences, not slaps on the wrist. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's been times when people have been banned from stadiums and still found ways to get in there, whether they use some kind of I don't know, way to alter how they look, or put some shades on, or a hat, or I don't know. If they're banned from one stadium, doesn't mean they can't go to see their team at other stadiums. So maybe that's what needs to be happening. Like, you can't go to see any games. I don't know. But even that seems to be a little bit like, So I don't know. I mean, I know in some countries, I don't know in the UK if you can be arrested for something like that or not. But, I just think there needs to be some serious, discipline for those kind of things. So, again, shout out Tammy Abraham. As a young man, I hope that he's got enough mental strength and enough about him to kind of move past that, not let it get to him too much, and just enjoy his football. You know what I mean? But again, with certain young players, you never really know. Sterling had to go through it. Seems like he's come out great, maybe even better, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe you use that to move forward. I know Everton got Moise Kean. He had to deal with that in Italy, which for me, I just don't understand why any brothers would go play football in Italy, or Russia, or the Ukraine, or and look, I don't want to paint this picture of these places, the whole country being racist, but it's enough of it to where it's just like, why even play there? Like, when I see Africans go to play in Russia, I'm just thinking, what is? I mean, sure, the money's good, and you got to worry about your family and the all of that, but I just don't get stuff like that. But anyway, that's me, man, just coming to talk about a few things, and I'll be back either later tonight or early tomorrow, as I usually do before the match. I kind of want to do a build up, so I might do that later tonight regarding the Southampton-Liverpool game. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you again for the feedback about the mics and things of that nature. Keep it coming, and I hope you guys continue to come and spend some time with us, visit us, and things of that nature. We're going to try to figure something out with the whole live hangout thing. I mentioned to the guys we can try the Skype thing again, even though it didn't work the first time, because I kind of need that. It's almost medicinal to be able to talk to guys like Jams, Gary, Mame, and anybody else, honestly, who's interested. Jason, if anybody's interested, you guys know my Twitter handle. It's AirUn20, AIRUN20. If you're interested, look me up, let me know. Let's get it popping. See you guys soon.